obviously you didn't pitch yesterday, but just given how much you've pitched in the playoffs so far, have you ever experienced anything like this physically before? And what are the feelings of kind of being up and throwing basically every day?
I guess I've never really experienced this amount of use. I pitched a lot during the regular season, basically like a picket fence, like one day on, off day, pitch, off day, pitch, off day. But I mean, I like the ball, I like the pitch. Thankfully, I haven't been too sore to say something, to speak up, say, hey, I need a day. So, but I will say that if you asked any other Penn guy to do what I'm doing, they would gladly do it. So.
And then just looking back at kind of your season on the whole, the trade at the deadline, moving away from home, now in the World Series, what has these last 3 or 4 months been like for you?
It's been really crazy, but everything happens for a reason. I believe that, so it's been a lot of fun.
You can stay back there with Ben, Louie.
Just on those lines, was there a point where you kind of felt like, you know what, I got my feet under me here in Toronto, like I know I've kind of got a sense of the organization and what to expect here?
Yeah, I guess I was like more to myself originally. I didn't ask too many questions, but then obviously, yeah, you get comfy, start asking more questions, meet more people, and things get easier. You know, there's growing pains with every trade, especially your first one. So I guess it was as expected to slowly get used to things and find my feet and get used to it.
And then, as Mitch said, yesterday was a rare off day for you where you didn't pitch. What was it like to watch the team perform the way it did, and especially Barger hitting that home run?
Yeah, it was great. Barger, that hit was unbelievable. We were screaming and yelling in the pen, extremely hype. Yeah, but I mean, I guess it was nice to have an off day. It was more nice to win the game. So, yeah, great start.
Third row on your right, Louie. Rob.
Hey, Louie, I think the cameras during the anthems caught you with a high mom, I believe, and a wow at the end of it after the applause that you got. What was that moment like for you? And you know, maybe talk about what your family means to you and what you were thinking about in that moment.
My family's my biggest supporters. I said hi, Mom, because I knew she was watching at home. She will be in LA though. But I guess I said the wow because I don't know if the crowd was cheering more for me or that we were done with like all the non-starter intros. But I thought it was pretty cool.
Second row on your right, your far right.
Hey, Louie. 2 questions for you. The first is, obviously, Chris Bassett has been coming out of the bullpen in the ALCS and now in the World Series. What's it been like having him in the bullpen, obviously, as a wealth of experience?
It's great having him out there. Him and Hoffman both having like a lot of experience. Sir Anthony as well. And he's a very vocal guy, as you probably know. He's great to have out there. He's crushing Red Bulls and showing us the way, and a great guy to have in the pen for the World Series.
And my second question is, Ross Atkins, since becoming GM here, has always spoken about the importance to him and the organization of bringing in players, personnel, coaches that have high character, good values. Since you're one of the newer arrivals, have you felt that in the clubhouse, not just with your teammates, but with other people in the organization, whether it's coaches, trainers, whatever?
Yeah, absolutely. From the coaching staff to the players to the support staff to the chefs, like everybody's great. Everybody's friendly, welcoming. I saw this the other day. The Blue Jays. That's like a perfect way to sum it up. Everybody's so close, and everybody's a great guy and girl.
Right up front, Louie. We'll go to Gabe.
Hey, Louie, how you doing?
Good.
Your line of work is so volatile, especially even more so in the postseason. What's it been like? You got a little taste a few years ago, but watching over the years what playoff relieving looks like, and now getting just tossed into the deep end this postseason.
Yeah, it's just doing. It's being ready since pitch one and doing whatever it takes. And once you're called upon, you got to be ready. So you just go out there, prepare yourself as best you can for anything to happen.
And is there kind of a chance for guys who are struggling to maybe rewrite a narrative, like there's no choice but to go to a guy, and then he can kind of turn around the perception of him after stringing a few good appearances together?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I always say it's not what you've done, although it does matter what you've done, but it's what you do next. It is, and making the most of opportunity of your next outing to correct like a bad outing before or anything that went poorly before, you know, or to keep like a good outing into another good outing. That's important too, and do a little streak.
First row on your left, Ron.
As intense as these postseason games are, do you feel more drained or more sore after pitching in them?
No, I don't. Thankfully, yeah,
You feel more hyped up in the games?
absolutely, yeah.
How do you measure that, or do you control that?
Yeah, I mean, I guess at home I let it fuel me because everybody's cheering for me. On the road, you get tunnel vision and block it out and do your job and take it one pitch at a time.
Third row on your far left, Louis.
Hey, Lou. Just thinking a little bit about adapting, as you were talking off the top, and us finding out about Addison Barger happening to sleep on a couch. I just wanted to know if you've had any opportunities as a new guy in town, and then having potentially newer guys in town. Any way that you've helped to adapt people here? Any couches or otherwise that you've given on offer?
I've never really had that opportunity to help somebody else or anything. I mean, my living situation has been pretty convenient for me. I moved into Will Wagner's apartment, who was traded from here. I came in, took over his lease, so I never really needed to rely on anybody's couch to sleep on or anything, so it worked out.
Go one row behind with Shy.
Hey, Louis. Yesterday was an example, also Game 4 at the bullpen day in New York, where the highest leverage point from a pitching perspective for you guys was the middle of the game as opposed to late. I'm just wondering, as you've been watching the postseason, what's your sense of how leverage can sort of swing to different points in the game where typically you'd think it'd be late, but sometimes it comes a lot earlier, and the key outs are in the fourth, fifth, sixth, as opposed to 7, 8, 9.
Yeah, that's just baseball. The starters seeing the meat of the order for the third time is a big thing, and once you get traffic on the bases, you want to keep them away from touching home. So it could come in the 5th, 6th, 7th, or even the 9th in some games as well. That's just how baseball goes.
Standing near the left corner, Louis.
Hey, Louis, what do you do to recover between outings, whether it's food, stretching, music you listen to? What do you do?
Yeah, I have my routine. I think I naturally just recover well. I don't know what my anatomy has different than the average human, but I've always been a believer in blood flow. You want new blood to the tissue that's been used. That pretty much starts the whole recovery process. So increase in heart rate, I do that a lot. I have my routine that probably checks a lot of other boxes to help me recover and everything. And I do a lot of contrast, hot tub, cold tub, back and forth. So.
Other questions for Louis? We'll go to Mike, fourth row on your right.
Hey, Louis, how has it felt for you to be the guy who has been called on so much? Not as far as the workload goes, but as far as the trust goes, as far as John Schneider wanting you in 10 of the first 11 playoff games. How's that felt?
Yeah, it feels great. Sometimes they don't go as planned, but it means a lot to me, him throwing me right back out there the next day. And trust is earned. I don't know if I fully earned it with how my experience here has gone so far. There's been some ups, there's been some downs, but I think them bringing me over here to the Blue Jays, that was the whole purpose, to put me in these positions, and I'm thankful and blessed, and I can't wait to throw tonight.
And as far as the Blue Jays thing goes that you were talking about, everyone in that clubhouse talks about the unique closeness of that room, how it's unlike any team that they've ever been on before. You've only been here for 3 months, but do you sense that as well? And not to disparage any of your old Minnesota teams, but is this that special, do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I think everybody's personality and attributes blends and meshes well with everybody else's, and everybody just has a lot of fun, gets along, and wins.
Third row on your left, Bob.
There's a lot of Canadians that live in Minnesota, Minneapolis, St. Paul. Do you get a lot of feedback from people back home as far as rooting for you and the Blue Jays?
Yeah, absolutely. I've heard of a couple parades that have been happening recently. I don't know. I know there's one in my hometown, North St. Paul. There's banners and stuff here and there. I didn't hear about it until someone told me recently, but yeah, a lot of Canadians, a lot of Minnesota fans rooting for me.
Hey, John. Obviously, pinch hitting's really hard, but you guys had Nathan Lucas step up last night with the walk, and then Addison Barger. What do you think it is about maybe the way you guys operate or prepare that has allowed you guys to be a good pinch hitting team this year?
I mean, thinking back to off season, it's something we talked about. We wanted to do more of. It is hard, and I think that in talking to the guys, they all understand. It goes back to be you, understanding what a situation calls for. In those instances yesterday, Nate trying to make some contact, Addy there forcing the issue to try to get Vlad in at bat versus Banda. But so much prep goes into it, Donnie does a great job of telling them before the game, like certain spots we're looking at and what to be ready for. And we've done it all year, so they're pretty well versed in it, We joke, it's kind of like we have them pretty well trained, when a certain guy gets up, they all start moving. But from there, I think then it's just the message that's delivered from either Lou, Hunter, or Pop as to what to get ready for the situation. And they've made me and us look pretty smart.
We'll stay back there with Shy.
Hey, John. Just with Bo in the lineup today, any physical effects or wear and tear from last night that's a factor in that, and how could that impact his potential usage today?
He felt pretty good after the game, and checking in with him today probably feels a little bit better than he expected. Again, when we put him on the roster, we did because we thought he could help us win, which he did yesterday, and keeping in mind that he hasn't played in 7 weeks. So totally different animal with the adrenaline and the pressure to get into a World Series game in a position you haven't played. So it was kind of part of the plan, just kind of based on how he was feeling. But he'll be ready to go today. He was in my office as soon as he came in and just said, "What are you expecting? What do I need to be ready for? And how do I prepare?" So it's a nice weapon to have on the bench tonight for sure.
And similarly, you mentioned not playing 7 weeks. Just what is the process to go? It's a lot to say goes 0 to 9 innings right away. Just what's the process of sort of building up, understanding there's a very tight time frame here?
Yeah, it's tough. I think tomorrow being off, kind of plays into today's thinking a little bit. But it's, I think at this point, again, no one's feeling 100%. So if it's a game that he's starting game 3 and he plays 9 innings, I think we're going to be okay with that.
Fourth row on your right, John. Mike.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, John. If you need him today, are you thinking that the lean is towards one at bat, pinch run for him, get him out, and keep him rested for the off day tomorrow? Is that what you're thinking?
No, thinking anything really. Just depending on the situation. Maybe the third inning. It depends. Obviously feel comfortable with him. What he's doing at the plate, and I think that if the situation calls for something, he'll be ready to hit, stay in. If the situation calls for hit and pinch run, either one, but he'll be ready for it.
And you talked about how cool it was catching Cito's first pitch yesterday. You've got all these alumni coming in. Joe Carter's here today, and you have talked about seeing him hit that home run off of Mitch Williams. What's it like having Joe Carter here?
Awesome. He was in our coach's room after the game yesterday, which was pretty cool. You kind of, for one, you forget how big these guys are, right? Like they're physical presences. But I think it's really cool. I think it's that swing, obviously the most recognized swing in our franchise. So to have him be a part of it, just as cool as having Cito here yesterday and getting to share a few minutes with him and exchange some thoughts and some, I just told Cito how humbled I was to be out there with him. I tried to give him some space so the crowd could recognize him, both going out there and coming in. But I think it's awesome that we have guys that this fan base is still really tied to.
Second row on your right, John.
Hey, John. Chris Bassett obviously came out of the bullpen yesterday, came out of the bullpen in Game 7 of the ALCS. What's it been like having him serve as a reliever?
Really, really fun, actually. You never really know with starters going into the bullpen. And I've said it to you guys that have been here all year. Chris does weird really well, and probably the one starter that can just go be a reliever on a given day. But I think he's kind of turned into someone that not that I didn't trust him, but he's turned himself into someone that you can just throw in wherever, And I think that it allows you to bring Sir Anthony in earlier, kind of at that part of the lineup, knowing that you trust Chris to do it the next time. It's so cool to hear him talk over the course of the year. And, we left him off the DS roster, and he kept himself ready. So he just wants to win, He asking him after the game and today, how you feeling? And he was like, great, great. I was like, all right, Chris, I get it. but he's just all about winning right now, and he's been awesome.
And my second question is, since Ross became the GM several years ago, he's always put an emphasis on getting people of high character, good values, not just players and coaches, but all personnel. What's that been like for the team's culture, and particularly this season where there's such an emphasis on cohesion? And I mean, Louis was just in here and he called it the Glue Jays. How much has that policy fed into that atmosphere?
Quite a bit, you know. I think that when you're trying to establish a winning environment and a winning organization that can do it repeatedly, that people come into play, you know. People that are going to push things forward and not be satisfied. Even this year, you know, when we acquired Hemi and, you know, signed Tony and signed Max, you know, we were talking about what that would do for people around him too, and where the people that we already had were in their career and kind of in their lives, right? So that, and then you go to the deadline. It was cool to have those conversations with Ross, not just like understanding what we were doing in real, like at the time, and not trying to disrupt that. You want to try to add people that are going to help, you know. So Sir Anthony, who is about as selfless as there is, Louis, Ty France, you know. They're good pieces for what we already have too, and I think we made it a point to be really aware of it this year. And again, it's been a couple kind of years in the making to get to this point.
Up front on your left, John.
Hey, John, good to see you again.
Good to see you.
Maury from the Roz and Mocha Show. So I have to ask you this, 2 questions. I have to ask you this. I was scrolling this morning, and I saw this story. My mind was blown. Treya Savage only makes $57,000 a year, living out of a van or something, going hotel to hotel. What do we have to do?
I think he makes more than that.
So this is my question. Is that true? Because what do we have to do to get him a raise?
I think we gave him like $8 million out of the draft, didn't we?
Oh, the story was everywhere.
He's making more money than me. He's got more money than me. That may be prorated major league minimum for the time he's been here. But I think it's more than 57K.
Cool. My second question is, your 2 kids, what do you say to them is going on? How do they know what the World Series is? What do they think's happening?
They get it. You know, it's funny. My 2 boys and my wife, throughout the course of the regular season, they never said the words World Series. They said WS because they didn't want to jinx anything. But they get it. You know, they understand that they're missing a month of school for something pretty special. You know, it's and I think that what I'm trying to tell them is that this isn't the norm. You know what I mean? This is something that mom and dad have to appreciate because we put a lot of sacrifice into this. But to have pictures, you know, with the American League Championship trophy and to have World Series T-shirts and hats is something that they're never going to forget.
Third row straight ahead, Rosie.
John, did you just say in your office before coming in here that you're starting Scherzer Game 3?
Yeah.
Okay, can you explain your reasoning for that?
Yeah, Max Game 3 and Shane Game 4. I think just looking at not having too much of a layoff with Max from his last outing, but still giving him some rest. Him pitching in that environment, that's going to be a lot of hoopla, you know, Game 3, much like yesterday, or any game this series. He's pitched in that stadium. It keeps him available for Game 7. And looking at Shane, I think, wanted to give him an extra day. What he has done coming off Tommy John 18 months later, I think, is probably best case scenario, you know what I mean, in terms of what he's been doing and how he's recovering. So you feel good about veteran guys in a hostile environment, and just kind of wanted to match the rest up accordingly, too.
Do a few quick ones. Third row on your left, John.
Hey, John. When you were talking about Joe and really Cito, you talked about the people that this fan base and this country are still really tied to. I don't know if you're going to like this question because I'm going to think, what does future John want to be thinking of the legacy being laid right now? And do you think about what kind of manager you'll be thought of in 20 years' time?
No. I'm thinking about Yamamoto and the Dodgers, you know. No, if anything, I think about it for the players. You know, I think about it for Vlad, Kirky, hopefully some more guys that are going to be here for a long time. No, this game doesn't wait or care for anyone. You know what I mean? I think those guys have left their mark for a reason. If I'm lucky enough to, great, but I haven't gotten that far ahead.
Just very quickly, I just wanted to ask: is there anything that you get in these press conferences, or any questions that you wish you got asked by us?
Wow, that's a good question. Wow, no. Is my immediate response. I wish people asked about my team. I think you guys do. You guys have kind of seen, for those that haven't seen our team play, the joy that it brings me and the staff to be around these guys every day. I wish that could be a story every single day. I could talk for hours. But this is part of, right? I'm obligated to come talk to you guys. I would love to sit up here and talk about Miles Straw, Ernie Clement, Tyler Heineman, Mason Fluharty. You know what I mean? Like that is the best part of my day, is coming here with these guys.
Row behind, David.
John, I'm not going to ask you about your team. Another Joe Carter question.
Yeah.
You mentioned this week that you had the Donnie Baseball poster on your wall. If you think back to a young John Schneider, what were your impressions of Joe Carter as a baseball player back then?
Just a dude, high tops, the Nike high tops that everyone wanted to wear. Power hitting outfielder that was a presence in the middle of the order. I remember watching the home run and him jumping around and fireworks going off. You appreciate the history of the game, I think. And like, there was a reason I sent Donnie out to do the lineup cards yesterday. You know what I mean? Like, I know Doc went out there, but to me, man, this game is about people that have been here before you. Hopefully I'm lucky enough to stay in it for a long time, but I wanted Donnie to go out there in his first World Series and be at the plate meeting. So having guys like Cito and Joe around, I think, just adds to, the stage of the World Series, but it adds to the history of the game. And I think you have to really appreciate what people have done before you.
Up front on your left, Ron.
You mentioned your wife and kids say WS, not World Series.
They say World Series now.
Are they naturally superstitious, or do they pick that up from you?
My kids have picked it up from us. My wife is too. She was a college softball player, so I think by default, Gunnar and Grayson have become pretty superstitious at a young age.
Go to the fourth row on your right, Mike.
Hey, John, given what happened in Seattle, did you tell Max that he's starting on Monday, or did he tell you?
Great question. I told him, he was asking what we were doing after Game 7, and I was like, Max, I'm enjoying a beer, man. Like, he's so regimented and wants to know what he's doing, and the fact he's been through this too. You know what I mean? Like, I'm listening to his feedback as we go. Because in Max's, when you guys get a chance to talk to him, I'll probably say the same thing. He stepped on landmines. He's dodged landmines in a World Series, in a 7-game series. Here's my thought. Here's my feedback. What are you thinking? Okay, when do I throw my side? But yeah, we told Max that he had Game 3.
And just on Joe Carter, the thing when he was here before that home run, obviously, and after, was that he was automatic for 100 RBIs every year, whether he hit 230 or 270, no matter what. Did you, A, know that about him? And 2, what does that mean when you think about something like that?
Yeah, I think certain guys, I think of like Edwin like that here. There's certain guys that they can drive in runs. You know what I mean? I know it's kind of a forgotten stat in today's game, RBIs, runs scored. There's certain guys in situations where you just pencil them in. You know what I mean? He's going to drive in 100, he's going to score 100, whatever. He's going to hit X amount of home runs. I think certain guys in those moments are just built a little bit differently. They kind of know what it takes to get the job done. So I know the home run gets a lot of attention for Joe, but just the consistency of his career is remarkable.
Hi, Max. When you were a free agent, you chose Toronto over many teams. You saw something in this team to get to this point. What was it?
Just had a lot of conversations with Chris Bassett and Hunter Mintz, really with Bass. And he has a really good pulse on what this clubhouse and team needed. And we were talking kind of throughout the whole offseason. And when things started moving in my direction, it just kind of seemed to all click that getting back with him would be a great thing for me, and that this was a team that could really go somewhere if they just needed to make a few adjustments. But he was really kind of the eyes and ears of what this team could be.
You had some rest in between your last start and the regular season. You were outstanding in Seattle. Did that rest help? And going in Game 3, seeing the Dodgers up front, seeing what they do in Game 1 and Game 2, does that help?
So 2 questions there. In terms of rest, it was really about getting fully healthy, getting over all the little ailments I had so that I could be getting through the ball again and throwing the ball as well as I can. And so, I used that time in the division series to get fully healthy, and it felt like that benefited me. Ready to go out there and compete in Game 3. In terms of, anytime you have a chance to watch what's going on, you can always, learn something. You just watch the game, and you can see how everybody's playing the game on both sides of the ball, us, them, everybody. So it's so much fun to watch. Last night was crazy, obviously, but tonight will be as well. So try to watch as well as I can and come up with a game plan. Obviously, the next day.
One row behind, Mike.
Hey, Max. Is there an element of unfinished business for you, given the way your last World Series start ended?
I wouldn't characterize it like that. I'm here to compete. I'm here to win. I wouldn't be looking backwards at all for any motivation. I have plenty of motivation. I'm here to win, and I got a clubhouse full of guys who want to win too. So we're a great team, and that's the only thing I need to think about.
You played for so long and on so many great teams, World Series teams before. There appears to be, from what we see, like a unique closeness to this clubhouse. I know all winning teams say they love each other, but has this one been different for you?
It definitely has the same type of feel as some of the great teams I've been a part of. Definitely our clubhouse is very tight-knit. It's a very well-functioning unit, top to bottom, everybody involved. It's a very unique experience, and I love that I'm here and getting to be a part of it.
4th row on your left, Max. Chelsea.
Hey, Max. The Dodgers obviously will know you pretty well. Still a lot of people there from when you were there. What have you learned about the line between kind of trying to outplan the people who are trying to outplan you, and then also sticking to your strengths and making sure you kind of do what you do best?
Yeah, it's a ultimate chess game. They're making moves, I'm making moves. That's just baseball, but it's been like that for years, like me for now. I understand, how everybody wants to attack me, how I want to attack them, and at the end of the day, it's you got to go out there and compete, and you got to throw strikes. It kind of gets back down to the basics. So you can try to make it as advanced as you want, but a lot of times it's the kind of more simple approach that works better. And just you got to go out there and want to win.
We'll stay over there with Shy, Max.
Hey, Max. There are a lot of different ways to try to get to 4 wins in 7 games in a postseason series. You've been through a few different ones on the teams that you've been a part of. What sticks out to you about the way that you guys are trying to match the roster to win those 4 and 7?
I don't know. This is baseball. Every time you think you can figure out baseball and put it in an equation, baseball has a funny way of shaking that up and making you look at the game a whole different way. So you can't, make baseball into an equation. You just got to come in every single day ready to play. Anything can happen. The ball can bounce any which way. And you got to go out there and make your own luck. So when you just got to get in these moments and feel the moment and rise to it and go out there and make a play, make a pitch for your team. That works more than trying to figure out a way to navigate. It's really simple. Win 4 games.
2nd row on your right, Max. John.
Hey, Max. Just here. After Game 7 of the ALCS, you and I spoke, and you said it was an honor to get to return to the World Series. How did it feel when John Schneider confirmed that you would once again start in a World Series?
Awesome. Just, this is what you play for, to be able to get to this spot, to get to this moment, to have a shot at it. You just think about all throughout your whole life, all the different things that have unfolded, and just so fortunate to have another crack at this. I mean, there's so many great players that have never gotten a World Series. So many great players where they only have one World Series. With Donnie on our team, he's gone his whole career, and now this is his first moment. So I absolutely respect playing in a World Series, what that means, and absolutely cherish these opportunities. So, when I get a chance to get the ball, man, this means everything.
Last row straight back, Gabe.
Hey, Max. With the way Louis has been throwing the ball and Jeff throwing the ball in the postseason, and with Chris joining the mix down there, how do you feel about the way the bullpen complexion looks, especially in this best-of-7 scenario here?
Yeah, it's really just whoever next man up. That's how we believe in everybody down there. It could be anybody. Anybody can get everybody that's down there. They can get a pocket. They can get some batters. And when they come into the game, everybody on the bench is believing that they're going to get the job done. So it's great to see those guys having success. And we gotta go out there and continue to have more.
Second row on your left, Max.
Max, can you describe the value of Alejandro Kirk and his development in this team?
What Kirky does, obviously he does it on both sides. He does it with his defense. He's back there grinding, catching, calling a game, doing all that. But he's also lethal at throwing out base runners. He does it on the defensive side. But then also his bat. His bat is such a important bat in our lineup. He can have long at bats. He can hit the ball kind of all ball fields. He's a tough out. So. What he does as a catcher, I mean, he grinds so hard to be back there every single day. He means a lot to our ball club, and it's awesome to see.
Third row straight ahead, Mike.
Hey, Max, Joe Carter's going to throw out the ceremonial first pitch tonight, and you're one of a few major leaguers for whom his home run is in living memory. What do you remember about that?
I know. I'm one of the old ones. These next generation guys are so young. Unfortunately, growing up, it wasn't a memory necessarily of mine. I was a little bit too young at the time to know it. I grew up in St. Louis. I was just a Cardinals fan, so for me, I only knew Cardinals baseball at the time and Ozzie Smith. So, unfortunately, I didn't watch it live. But obviously, as a baseball fan, I've seen that play so many, seen that home run so many times. It's such a special moment. Can't wait to see him throw out the first pitch and see how the fans, how that jumps up the fans. Man, I mean, it's the biggest homer in MLB history. So it's a great way for the fans to be able to enjoy it.
And given that, people can define their careers with one moment in the World Series, right? Like Carter did there, like Addison Barger might have done last night. What do you think about this stage and the ability or the chance for something like that to happen, for one player to do something that they're remembered for the rest of their lives?
That's what's awesome. That's what's awesome about baseball at this stage. You got the two best teams in the world going at each other with everybody watching, with all the chips on the table. So, that's what makes you excited as a ball player, that you get this type of opportunity to play in this type of environment. There's nothing like it. There's nothing like it in the world that can give you this type of adrenaline rush. So, we're all just excited to be a part of this, grind at this together, and we believe that can be anybody on our team that can have that type of moment.
Do two last ones, Barry, right ahead.
Hey, Max, how you doing?
Good.
Good. So I covered Joe Carter's homers just to show you how old I am.
Mm-hmm.
Your relationship with Clayton, how ironic is it that you're in Donnie's first World Series and Clayton's last? And what do you feel about that? Have you spoken to Clayton?
Yeah, Kershaw and I are great. We have a great relationship, but right now it's two teams. We're competing. We're both playing for a ring right now. So, obviously I wish him the best. Always think highly of him and everything he's done in his career and what he's meant to the Dodgers. Nothing but respect for everything that he's done. And Donnie, to be able to get an opportunity like this, so happy that I get to be on his team and have this moment with him.
I'll finish up in the fourth row on your left, Shy.
Max, you talked about sort of all the things that you've been through, all the things that come with this stage. When you take the mound now, what types of things do you still have to manage? Or there's some butterflies or there's some adrenaline rushes? Like, or are you just been there, done that so much that you could just pitch? What's it like for you?
Probably a little bit of culmination of everything there. It's more. I've been in these moments and I've gotten beat. I know what happens when you lose. When you lose, you have to really reflect upon yourself and think about all the different things that why you lose. And so those are the things that you learn the most about, so you don't make the same mistake twice. And so going out there and competing, you got to have kind of a wherewithal of different things of how the game can unfold and what are different things that you can get beat on. So it's kind of like I would throw that element into the mix as well.